friend, motivator, and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CEO, coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Welcome to ASG. ASG IAS believe in quality, commitment, and success. Current affairs program that is CAP, a comprehensive current for dedicated student. Listening is very powerful. Today's quote is: in India, we have 3 million people who have to be satisfied with one meal a day. And that meal consists of chapati containing no fat in it and a pinch of salt. You and I have no right to anything you have until these 3 millions are clothed and fed better. You and I, who ought to know better and must adjust our wants and even undergo voluntarily starvation in order, and that they may be nursed, fed, and clothed. This quote of Mahatma Gandhi from the book The Words of Gandhi by Richard Attenborough. The most important news of today's source is the Hindu newspaper. Iran China to set to clinch 25-year-old deal. 25-year deal. Beijing will get larger role in Java. Iran and China are close to finishing 25-year strategic partnership, which will include Chinese involvement in Java's duty-free zone, an oil refinery nearby, and possibly a larger role in Java port as well. According to a leaked version of the 18-page comprehensive plan for the cooperations between Iran and China being finalized by officials in Tehran and Beijing, the cooperation well extended from investment in infrastructure, manufacturing, and upgrading energy and transport facility to refurbishing ports, refineries, and other installations, and will commit Iranian oil and gas supplies to China during that period. Railway project. The proposed tie-up comes even as Iran decided last week to go ahead on its own with the construction of a railway line from Jahabar to Jahedan in Afghanistan, for which MOU had been signed with the PSU, Indian Railway Construction Limited, for 4 years ago. The MOU signed during the Prime Minister Narendra Modi visit to Tehran in 2016 was to construct the Chahabar Jahedan Railway, Chahabar Jahedan Railway, Chahabar Jahedan Railway, Chahabar Jahedan Railway, Chahabar Jahedan Railways. As a part of transit and transportations corridor in trilateral agreement between India, Iran, Afghanistan. However, despite several site visits to IRCON engineers and the preparations by Iranian railways, India never began the work, ostensibly due to worries that these could attract US sanctions. The US had provided a sanctions waiver for the Chabar port and the rail line to Jahedan, but it was been difficult to find equipment suppliers and partners due to the worries they could be targeted by US said officials. Aircraft carriers to get Indian jets by 2032. The Navy is expected to start receiving new twin-engine aircraft carrier-based fighter aircraft being developed by the Defense Research and Development Organization DRDO by 2032, and it will be a replacement for the Russian MiG-29K carrier jets in service at defense source site. The Navy is expected to get the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited (HAL) built a twin-engine carrier aircraft by 2032. It will replace the MiG-29Ks in service, which are scheduled to start going out by 2034. The Navy currently operates Russian origin carrier INS Vikramaditya, and expect to have the first indigenous aircraft carrier IAC-1 Vikrant operational by 2022. With the second carrier to come in, the Navy is already evaluating a global tender for 57 carrier-based twin-engine fighter aircraft. With the new jet under development and also factoring the budgetary constraints, the Navy is looking to revise the tender for 57 carrier-based jets downwards. The revised numbers have not been finalized yet, the source stated. Last January, the Naval Light Combat Aircraft successfully completed arrested landing and takeoff on board Vikramaditya has since undertaken several trials. Based on the experience of the carrier landing, the DRDO has offered to develop a twin-engine deck-based fighter to the Navy. Yet another challenge to the Dalit movement: the language of the mobilization needs to change. The pandemic is forcing us to understand the challenging nature of society. In North India, especially, it has also reshaped the discourse on the marginalization. Dalit issues are part of the discourse but are thus submerged in the broader discussions on economic vulnerabilities highlighted by COVID 19. This pandemic has brought about two important shifts in the political discourse on the marginalized. The lockdown caused an untold suffering to poor migrant laborers. It brought them from the margins to the center of the deliberations. Again, discussions on the space for the marginalized in the public health system and their safety are in focus. However, the concern about Dalits remains hidden under the broader categories of the poor, vulnerable, marginal, etc. This is the editorial of the Hindu newspaper, enabling people to govern themselves. With the pandemic showing up flaws in the governance institution, this is a better way for the humanity to face new challenges. This article was written by Arun Maitra. Governance system at all levels, that is global, national and local, have experienced stress as a fallout of COVID-19 pandemic. Architectural flaws have been revealed in their design. Breakdowns in many subsystems had to be managed at the same time. In healthcare, logistics, business, finance, administration, the complexity of the handling so many subsystems at the same time have been overwhelmed. Governance solution for one subsystem backfired on other subsystems. For example, lockdowns to make it easier to manage the health crisis have made it harder to manage economic distress. Simultaneously, in fact, diversion of resources to focus on the threat to the life posed by COVID 19 has increased vulnerability to death from other disease and even from the malnutrition in many parts of India. Human civilization Human civilizations advances with the evolutions of better institutions to manage public affairs. Institutions of the parliamentary democracy, for example, and the limited liability business corporation did not exist 400 years ago. Institutions of the global governance, such as the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, did not exist even 100 years ago. These institutions were invented to enable human societies to produce better outcomes for their citizens. They have been put through a severe stress test now to global health and economic crisis. The test has revealed a fundamental flaw in their design. There is a mismatch in the design of the governance institution at the global level and also India with the challenges they are required to manage. Designed like machines for efficiency, they are trying to fit themselves into organic system of natural environment coupled with the human society. It seems the government institutions are square pegs for forcing themselves into a round holes. Interconnected issue. The global challenges listed in the 17 Sustainable Development Goals SDGs of the United Nations, which humanity must urgently address now, are systematic challenges. All these systematic problems are interconnected with each other. Environmental, economic, and social issues cannot be separated from each other and solved by experts in the silos or by the agencies focused only on their own problems. A good solution to one can create more problems for others, as government response to the novel coronavirus pandemic had revealed. So thank you very much to watch my program. Wish you all the best and good luck.